Welcome in. Welcome to the live. Today's live, I am going to be finishing up an alteration. I've already taken out most of these stitches. I'm going to be letting out a dress that was ordered on Amazon. So we're going to have to open, I guess I did not open up this lining piece. She didn't care for this like inside, like an inside bodice, but we're gonna have to like stitch it down. So I think once I take all of this apart, it will be easy to stitch it down to the interior layer of the bodice. This dress has one seam allowance, has a lot more fullness than the other side, which I understand for both, but I don't understand for altering a garment. Alright, so that's out. Now we have to take this side out too. I may have to put her on the form and pin it down to make sure that it's flat. Oh, let me turn this on. I am so sleepy today. Definitely have to finish this today though. So I just remembered, I was thinking like, oh, the only thing I have to do is let this out. But then I remember I have to hem this dress. And it has a bazillion layers and a horsehair in the bottom of it. So I'm gonna have to take all of that out, which I have not done yet. So I'm gonna have to take out the horsehair, reapply the horsehair, and but I'm excited about this dress because this is kind of like a shut and close like alteration. It doesn't really require me to think a whole bunch, which I've been hoping to have less things to think about, figure out. I just got through doing a wedding dress and that was so like mind boggling. Oh, that water is good. All right, so we have this little bodice here. I feel like I might be asking for too much, but I was hoping I could sew it just to the top layer, like this interior layer. There's a layer here, there's a lace layer on the outside, and then there's this bodice layer. I'm hoping I would like to just sew it to the one side so the stitch line isn't on the outside, but it's also black, so if it came down to it, I think it's fine. But okay, I think I'm gonna have to get my form, and maybe I just hand stitch it. I've been doing so much hand stitching lately that at this point I think I'd rather do that than fight to get it through the machine. Okay. get these pieces open. The seam allowance is still caught in this trim. Welcome into the live, guys. Today is a sewing alteration live. My goal is to be on an hour and a half, 2 hours while I work through this. I told you guys yesterday that I wanted to do a hand knitting live, but I got up this morning and I decided to work an Amazon flex shift, and now I am tired. So I'm like, let's actually do this instead, because I need to do this. I don't need to do the hand knit pumpkin. But maybe I will post that video as my long form content for today. So stay tuned. Tonight I'll record my hand knit pumpkin tutorial, or like knit along. I'll post that on my page later today. But I just want to finish this and like not be sewing all night. It's Sunday. I feel like yesterday I took the day off a little bit. I handed a blanket yesterday for my cousin to take back to college with him. But I think I'm good, and I think I am making the executive decision that I'm going to hand sew this. So let's see. Alright, see if we can get this on the form. I'm putting it on inside out. Alright. So here, this is the garment. And so like this. I'm going to be letting this out, so take that stitch out. Okay. I think we're pretty good here. I do want to make sure that this placement is kind of where it should be. see if I have another black thread. There you go. So I'm going to thread this needle, and I'm just going to do a quick little whip stitch around this edge so that it is connected in there. I'm going to try to only attach it to this top layer, and I think I'm only going to do like maybe from here to here, because this was kind of wide, high on her. So I'm gonna make this sleeve narrower, but I don't think we have, there's not a lot here to like lower and reshape this sleeve. So we're gonna have to leave it as it is, but try to open it up as much as possible. There's a ton down here where we're going to let it out, but I don't know if it's going to be enough here in the sleeve. We might have to add a little bit. So I don't want the sleeve to be in the way. So we're just going to do this right here. Oh. So I'm just going to do a little whip stitch to attach this to this. So I'm just going to go and sew around this edge. So if you leave a comment and I don't see it, I'm going to look over periodically. But I'm here if you have any questions or clarity on what I am working on. I'm here to answer any questions you might have and to support my channel and support my live. I do accept super thanks and gifts, and you can send both of those by clicking on the gift box or the chat feature at the bottom and by the comment section, or you could just double tap the screen to send hearts and likes to help support the live. have to finish these alterations by tomorrow. I actually had forgot that I was off work tomorrow, so I was like, oh, well, I can do this on tomorrow. So I'm gonna meet them tomorrow. I just did some updates to my studio. So I just put in this like vinyl flooring. So I'm excited. I haven't given it to him yet. He is coming either tonight or tomorrow to get the blanket, but I did finish it and I let him know. And he's just like, oh, he's gonna come see me before he leaves. So I didn't tell him there was a blanket, but now I've made the blanket and I like shared it online, but my cousin doesn't have Facebook. That new generation don't really use Facebook. But my aunt, who's a school teacher, she's like, wait, can you make me a blanket for my classroom? So now I'm probably gonna be making another blanket for my aunt, who is like a teacher in an elementary school. So more blankets in the future. But that blanket was so cute, actually. I need to remind him, like, when are you coming, so that I can, you know, make sure we have it all together for him. Alright, so, pretty attached in here. How's your Sunday? Happy Sunday. I got up this morning and I did an Amazon Flex order. I immediately regretted it. Once I got the order, I was just like, I should have picked something else to do today. But I did that for 3 hours this morning. Came home and took a nap. And now I went to do my Sunday earrings, and now I'm back on live sewing again. So this is done, and the next, now this here, I need to increase it. I'm letting it out, but the sleeve does not have as much seam allowance as the bodice. I was actually delivering in close to my own neighborhood, which I always enjoy, because sometimes Amazon Flex sends me like far out, and then I have like 30-minute drive home, and I hate that. But I was in my own neighborhood, but I live close to downtown, and sending me downtown on a Sunday is great because the parking is a lot easier. But it's terrible because a lot of downtown has these like new condo loft type homes that have buildings, so none of the reception offices are open, so you're fighting trying to get into the building, trying to get to the mailroom. You can't just have the receptionist open the door because they're not there on Sundays. So I finished my shift late because I spent the first like 30 to 40 minutes like trying to get into buildings, trying to get into the mailroom, and like the codes and things that people gave didn't work, and I'm like, I don't want to take anything back to the studio, so I have to figure out how to get these stuff dropped off because I don't want to take it all the way back. I was like, I'm ready to be done. I finished like 10 minutes late, and the last one, it was just like, again, was like downtown Columbus, required a code. At least it worked, but you can only park on one side of the street because of like public transportation, but it's a one-way, so you can't turn left, so you have to go to the next street and turn left, but that's a one-way. So then you have to go down another street, which is the other way, but then the next street is a one-way the opposite direction, so you have to go all the way around this big block to be able to park on the right side of the street so you can drop the order off. So I was just like, by that time it was 11:50, and I'm like, I'm over this. Yeah, I do not like downtown. So when I first saw it, I was kind of excited because I thought like, oh, this is my neighborhood. Usually the packages are very close together and you can, like, you know, get through it really quickly, but I did not. I was 10 minutes late today, or 15 minutes late. The last package I dropped off was at 11. It's like 11:03 when I got there. And my shift was supposed to end at 10:45. So I was just like, I'm over it. I don't do Amazon Flex often, though. I don't feel like it's worth the money. But I was like, I needed a little extra cash. So I'm like, I'm going to go do an Amazon shift early before I even get my day started. But I was thoroughly annoyed to do all of that for like $60, $60. All of the rates here are pretty much base rates, or I think I don't do Amazon Flex enough to get into the higher buckets. So like for 3 hours you're getting paid like $20 an hour, sometimes less than $20 an hour. So I try not to take orders less than $20 an hour, but most of the ones that are over $20 an hour are usually early in the morning. So if you want to do a 3 a.m. shift, or they're very far, like 30 to 45 minutes outside of the city. So either way, they're going to get you on the miles or they're going to get you on the time. Okay. So I have to let this out. But the skirt has 3 layers. The bodice has 3 layers as well. Which means I would have to let out all 3 and sew all 3 back together, or 4 back together. One of the 4th one will be separate. The lining. And these are separate pieces, so that's great. Okay. How do I? What I'm thinking through right now is that the side, I have to cut the dress. The side of the bodice doesn't have enough, as much, I mean the sleeve doesn't have as much seam allowance as the bodice. So I let it out, and with letting it out, I feel like I need to add something to the sleeve because it does not match. Yes. I can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Cannot hear you. But you can see here. Hey, Keith. Like, this is the sleeve. This is the armhole. And they don't, I'm on live. And they don't match. So, their sleeve didn't come with as much seam allowance as the skirt. So, what do you need? What do you need?
I'm hungry again.
Well, you have to get a snack. What have you been eating? It's stuff all over your mouth.
Huh?
What have you been eating?
The cake.
Oh, well, go wipe your face. Get an apple. Huh? Well, then you're going to have to wait. I don't know. No, I'm not ordering McDonald's. Thank you for the flower, Derek. Hey, Keith, how are you? So, yeah, you can see here, this is the sleeve, this is the skirt, this is the bodice. And there isn't enough seam allowance to equal these. I'm going to have to add more to this layer to make it match this. And she was fine with that because she's very short and I'm going to have to cut the skirt. So she's just like, you know, do whatever you need to do to make it fit. So it's just a lot of like, what do I want to do? Do I want to add more of the mesh? Do I want to add more of the lace? I don't know how that feels when your skin raw. Or, I guess it's 2 layers of mesh on the sleeve and then the lace is in the middle. Okay. Make sure I'm looking at the right pieces. It's a lot of black dress. Alright. So yeah, there's just like... Well, this actually seems like the opposite now that I'm looking again. Okay, actually, we could put a quarter. This, I just started a little bit ago, but I had, my son had a baseball game, so he had a baseball scrimmage, and I wasn't prepared for a baseball scrimmage like the coach told us that morning. So I had planned to sit in my car and take this apart while he was at practice, but then it became a scrimmage, so I was just like, shoot, I actually have to like be at a baseball game. So I just took the whole dress with me to the stands, and I sat and I unpicked it while I was watching the scrimmage. So about an hour baseball game of taking this apart where it needs to, and then I've probably been on live about 20 or so. I've been on live about 30 minutes, so that's what I've been doing. Okay, actually, I am going to not add anything. It's only short by a little bit, but there's enough mesh. I just don't know if that's gonna work. Enough mesh here. Hi Levi, what's up? I want to make sure all the layers get caught. Some of the layers are short, so that's what makes it like... I don't know. I feel like one side looks better than the other side. So we're going to open this one. Okay. I feel like she told me to open this up as much as I possibly could. So she's getting a little bit extra. Not as much as I wish, but I might be able to just... This has a little bit of give. So as long as I can get these two pieces to match, I can sew those together. And then sew... Did I do that wrong? Yes, I did. Sew those two pieces together, and then I can move on to the side seams, which is going to take me a second because, again, it has 3 layers. So I got to sew each of the 3 layers smaller, and then put all the pieces back together, and then put the waist back together, and then put the bodice back together. So we have one. You guys make sure you double tap the screen. Double tapping the screen will send hearts and likes. And all of my lives are recorded, so you can go back and watch them if you're curious about sewing, alterations, etc. Fun fact about sewing is I'm a personal believer that you can sew anything however you want to. There's rules. There's ways that you should sew things, but you don't have to do that. I am a professional designer outside of my business, and I tell factories how things should be sewed all day. But at the end of the day, you can sew things however you want to. As long as it looks the way you want to look, it doesn't matter if it's following any industry standard when it comes to sewing. Oh, I poke myself all the time. And some of these pens are new, so they're like extremely sharp, but I'm pretty used to it. You will hear me say ow though, because these new ones are really sharp and they do hurt when you poke yourself, but it doesn't hurt for long. I poke myself very, very often. The one thing you never do is you never put pins in your mouth. You might see people do that. Never do that. So, but I've also been sewing for such a long time that I typically can pin things without poking myself, but it does happen. Okay. Wait, is that a gap? Alright, so we have the armholes pinned back together and then the side seams. I'm just going to go ahead and take these pieces apart. There's actually 4 layers, 2 chiffon layers, a lace layer, and 2 line layers. I guess that's 5 actually. Oh no, the skirt doesn't have it. So the skirt has 1 mesh layer, but oops, don't do that. Pull these out a little bit more so I can get a better blend when it comes to sewing them back together. So let's talk sewing. Beginner-friendly sewing projects. I think beginner-friendly sewing projects are like pillows, tote bags, pillowcases. I have a little tool belt, which I should use more often, and I don't. But like little tool belts, headbands are really good projects. Speaking of headbands, I would rather wear that than wear this ponytail on my head. So, there we go. So we have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Where's 4? 4 is right here. So there we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to sew all of these. It came with about 1 inch. It's kind of hard to see there. From the distance from here to that stitch line. It came with about that much. I'm going to see if I can get these down to like 1/4 of an inch to give her as much space in her waist as possible, because sis was like trying to put this dress on, like, so giving her some space, some ease so she can breathe. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to sew the sleeves. That pen is confusing me. Sleeves. And then we're going to sew, am I going to sew the bodice? So these pieces will be sewn back together, and then these pieces will go together, and then I'm drawing a blank. Okay, hold on. So we're going to sew all these pieces back together. Then sew these pieces back together. Is this finished this way? Then sew the waist together, and then go inside and sew the lining together. I think that's funny because my mom is diabetic and I'm not, but I did this like research study with her, like a research study for like families of diabetics, and a part of it was me going with her to get my finger poked too, and the finger poke hurt so bad, and she's like, it's nothing, and I'm like, that hurt. My finger was sore afterwards, but I poke myself with these pins all the time and they don't bother me, but that diabetic like thing, I was just like, don't poke me with that. And I also have a couple of tattoos myself. So we're going to move to the sewing machine. Need to get some light of the dress. There we go. We're gonna need some pens and things. And I'm gonna need some water. Alright. see what we got here. Alright, I have a Juki industrial machine. This was one of my, oh, forgot to unplug this. It's one of my favorite machines. I learned how to sew on a Juki. Alright, tap that on, got some light going. Let's move this out of the way because I don't need that. Alright, start with the sleeves. So I'm sewing one half of the sleeve, and these sleeves have like bindings, which are cute, but for this to be a dress from Amazon, some of the finishing methods are very nice. I'm gonna put that little piece back on. Alright. And then we have here so the other side. Thank you to those of you who are watching. Yeah, it is very time consuming, but also in the same breath, like, this is literally my life. I sew. I have a small business where I sew for other people and I teach sewing lessons. I'm a designer in my day job, so I talk about if I'm not sewing, I'm talking about sewing or making something. And I like to sew for myself, and I think it's important that other people know the basics of sewing as well. At least trying to, you know, mend and fix their own clothes, I think is very important. But I've been doing it for so long. I've been sewing for about 18 years. I learned how to sew, and I pretty much have been sewing ever since. I like never stopped sewing. It's crazy when I think about it. I started sewing at 15. I went to a fashion design program in high school, and I learned how to sew. And from there, I went on to go to college for fashion design, where all I did was sew. And then from there, I have a job as an apparel technical designer, and all I do is talk about sewing. And then I have a small business now where I do a lot of sewing for other people, and eventually when the time is right, I get to sew for myself. I don't know, what do you guys want to know about sewing? Is there any questions about sewing? It looks like there's like 12 people in the room. I can answer questions. I have been sewing for a long time. I interned with one of the world's largest global manufacturing companies. So if you have any questions about manufacturing or sample creation, I can probably answer those too. Thank you, I appreciate that. That was my goal. I don't tend to go live. I've been trying to do it more often, but I felt like my page was getting a little stagnant. I'm like, I need to reach out to new people. I want to do new projects. So I was like, let me get on live and see if I can get introduced to some other people. Sometimes I see people go live and they just kind of sit and talk, and I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm talking about. And I have some friends that are just like, well, you have a cool job, like maybe you can sit and talk about your job. And I'm like, well, I can't share proprietary information, but I could talk to the idea of being a fashion designer, working for a fashion corporate house. Do I know Kanye West? No, but I know Daniel Levy. I know Daniel Levy and Daniel Levy's best friend, but or rather associate with them because we no longer work together. But I met Angela Bassett at backstage at Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, but I don't know Kanye West. That would be cool, but I'm not there yet. I worked in New York for a little while I was interning, so I got to do some cool stuff while I was there, but that was like a long time ago. I moved to Ohio and I just worked for a fashion company. Columbus, Ohio is the #3 fashion city in the United States. People don't know that, but it's because we have so many fashion home offices here. I wish I could make my own Yeezys. I don't make shoes, but that's a different type of technical designer. I'm an apparel technical designer. That's an accessories technical designer. But I wear Yeezys. Well, I used to anyways. Wear Yeezys all the time. I would love to make a pair of Yeezys. Making shoes is a whole different thing. It requires a whole different machine. You need one of those machines that have like a ball on it and it can like sew around the curve. But they have places in like LA where you can go and take like a shoemaking course. I've considered it like just for fun, but you know, continued learning as a designer. Thank you. I appreciate that. What I have right now on my website is some dresses from last year that I made, and I have a tutorial on my website for a hand-knit teddy bear, and I do embroidery, so I have some hats on there that I think are kind of cool. Someone asked me to make a FAFO hat with the little Montgomery ball chair on it in red, like the MAGA hats. So those were cool. Just mostly like the baseball caps and things. A lot of the things that I sell are custom, so I don't carry a lot of product. So usually when I make stuff for people or I post things on there, it's usually like custom things that I still have. So most men things that I make are custom. They're by request. I used to make do-rags. I still can't believe it, but I used to make custom do-rags every month. We had a brand new do-rag, like silky, velvet, etc. We did a new print. You know, I've been thinking about that. Last winter, I did embroidered beanie hats. So I was considering doing some embroidered beanie hats with like some cool stuff on it. And I have like 3D font, so it's like puffy and it's like easy to read. So I've been thinking about like maybe some angel number beanie hats or some like cool details. But I was doing so many do-rags that people started calling me the do-rag girl, and I'm like, I don't like that. So I don't make as many do-rags anymore, but do-rags is one of those things that I do make if people special request them. You know, that would be interesting. But I guess what I struggle with doing those type of things is like the price. What do you want on a shiesty that makes it unique enough to pay the price of someone making it, because you can go to the corner store and get one for $5. I don't know, but at least here in Ohio, you can go to like the corner store and buy like the shiesty mask or whatever for like under $10. So if you wanted me to make one that you're probably going to pay $50 for, like, what do you want on it? Is it special fabric? Is it a print? Is it embroidered? You want it to say something custom, something very specific? Like, what makes it worth the price to hand make one? I know, like, for a while people would be like, can you make me a t-shirt? And I'm like, the time it's going to take for me to cut and sew you a t-shirt, you could buy a pack of Hanes. Like, what do you want in a t-shirt? You want it to be silk? Do you want it to be like Supima cotton? Like, you want something different about it? Like, what makes it worth having to customize it? Alaska's cool. And there are people who do that. There are people who support just because they are handmade. It is a better quality. It's not, mass produced and, not great quality of fabric. So there are people who do choose to support because of the fact they are handmade. But that is a good idea. I've been thinking of, I live in Ohio, so I don't know if you know Ohio State football, but Ohio State football is like huge here. And I've been considering like making some Ohio State like jackets for like the football games, like some warmer jackets for the games. But you have to be careful with those because that's dope. I think that's cool. And you try to find some, things that make it interesting. So you do a little bit of research to see, like, what are people looking for. That's what I always ask people, like, what would be interesting to you? Because what would be interesting to you, what would be interesting to me might be two different things. Especially because I am more centered into women's wear because of my job, my day job. All right. What layer are we on? So we have 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, Columbus, Cincinnati, and Dayton is where we are located. So a lot of stuff that happens here. 1, 2, 3. There it is. Columbus is cool. Columbus is a growing town. They were building like Intel or something here, but I don't know what's going on with that with the economy. Supposedly they were laying off a bunch of people, but Intel is here, so a bunch of people were moving here. People say Ohio is very country, and this is coming from a country girl. I live in Ohio, but I'm from Mississippi. Ohio is country, but the cities are the city. Like, yeah, that's what I thought. I thought the Intel thing was like not happening, and they like laid off a bunch of people because of economy stuff. So who knows what's going to happen, but I feel like a lot of people did move here because of that. Ohio is country when you're not in the city. When you're in the city, you're in the city. But as soon as you leave the city, you're in the country. It's pretty much how it goes. But yeah, as soon as you get out the city limits, it is farms and cornfields and Amish country. Yes, Facebook, Google, and Amazon. So it's still very much city living. It's not all country. The cities are the city. And you have to think about the fact that like Cleveland has Cleveland Browns. So that's more city than Columbus is. It's a much bigger metropolitan city than Columbus because of the people they have there that make large amounts of money. So I would even say that Cleveland is more of a city, big city than Columbus is, but I wouldn't say that Ohio is all country, but it's definitely. I didn't know Facebook was here. I didn't know we had Facebook in. I didn't know Facebook was in Columbus. But you never know. I'd be looking for a job change. You might have to do some research. I know the Intel thing was like out by my job. That's the only reason why I kind of had an idea about that. New Albany is like the traffic, etc. out there is insanity. And supposedly they were making the. I actually don't go to Dayton. I think I've been to Dayton like 3 times in the 15 years that not 15 years, in the 20 years that I have lived in Ohio. I think I've been to Dayton like 3 times, and it's only like 45 minutes, less than an hour from here. But from what I heard, I'm not going to disagree. Yeah, that's why the traffic is so bad. So much construction out in New Albany because that's where it was supposed to have all these new companies. But I don't think they just like did all that work to widen the freeway, which has been a pain. And now, very, 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 very unfortunate, but my job is going back to 4 days full time in office starting this week. So I just know the traffic is going to be insanity. Now that everyone has to go to the office. I am doing alterations on a guest of wedding dress. She ordered this dress off of Amazon, and I don't know exactly. I don't order a lot of clothes off of Amazon, so I don't really know the process. But she had been trying to find this perfect gown for a block tie wedding off of Amazon. Oh yeah, it snows in Cleveland. She's going to a black tie wedding, and she was struggling to find a wedding gown or guest of wedding dress. And she ordered a couple, and none of them fit the way she wanted. But for whatever reason, they took a long time to come. So she finally found a dress that was close to fitting, but it was still too small. So I am doing alterations for it. I will say when it does snow in Cleveland, it does snow. Coming from a person who lives in Columbus, Ohio, I'm originally from Mississippi, so all snow is a lot of snow. And I went to Kent State University, which is very close to Cleveland. That whole Northeast Ohio area gets lake effect snow. So when I went to Kent State, I was not prepared for the amount of snow that they get in comparison to Columbus, Ohio. The snow they get there is not even close to being the same. The lake effect snow is totally different. And now that I've been back in Columbus for 10 years, I've been back in Columbus 10 years, this is fine. But the snow in Cleveland, and sometimes I'm driving from Columbus to Cleveland, and the progression of how much snow it is as you travel up 71, it's literally would be no snow in Columbus, and I would get to Cleveland 2 hours away, and they would have a foot of snow. I actually don't go to Cincinnati much either, but I think Cincinnati I feel like Cincinnati is a secret, it's what's the word I want to use? It's a sneaky link. It's cool, it's chilled, but they really be having a bunch of stuff going on down there. I've never really been to Cincinnati for anything specific outside of the aquarium or catching a flight. But I do think that Cincinnati has a lot to offer, but I don't think it's because they have a baseball team. there. So like, also again, we have a soccer team in Columbus, so I feel like we have like those level of athletes. But I think when you are bringing in a type of money into your city from like the Browns or from what is it in the baseball team in Cincinnati Reds, something like that. You have people who are bringing that type of money into the city. I feel like it changes the city atmosphere. We have soccer here and we have hockey. I think hockey is really big here, but I feel like that's different than baseball, football money. I moved to Ohio as a teenager, so my family moved here for better opportunities, which they were right. But I moved here as a teenager, and I have been here ever since. So I've been in Ohio 24 years. I moved here in 2001. And I will say, like, you know, it worked out in my favor. I don't think I would have went to Kent State. Oh no, I've been here for so long. I had to assimilate. When I first moved to Ohio, I was getting into fights because I had a heavy drawl. And then eventually I started to lose my accent because I was tired of getting picked on. So I don't have much of an accent. People say they can hear it on certain things I say or when I start talking fast. But the accent is pretty much gone. I remember I got into a fight the first like couple of weeks that I got to Ohio. I got into a fight with a boy at a bus stop. And my mom was like, I enjoyed my 3 days at home because he was making fun of my accent. And it wasn't just me. I have an auntie who is really close in age to me, and she got kicked out of school. She got kicked out of East High School because she was getting into fights because people was talking about her accents. So it wasn't just me. But I feel like it's the best of both worlds. I enjoy my country background. I get to go home. I get to enjoy the side of the world that is southern countryness. But then I've gotten a lot of opportunities by being here in Ohio, things that I don't think I would have had the opportunity to experience had I been in Mississippi still. Ugh, getting lost. Okay. You guys make sure you like the live. It is 29 people in the room, and there's only 15 rubies. So you can use rubies to send gifts from the gift gallery. There's also super chat, super thanks. You can send those also by clicking the little chat emoji picture that's in the bottom next to your comment box. To like the live, you can double tap the screen to send hearts, or you can click the 3 dots in the top right corner to like the live. Thank you so much, Derek, for the flower. I appreciate you. Ohio isn't that type of country. Ohio is not that type of... To me, Ohioans don't have an accent. To me. But I grew up with real country folks. Like, Mississippi. I'm from the Delta, from the Gulf. Like, I don't think Ohioans have an accent. They're not that type of country. They're just, like... farming country, like farm country, but they're not like southern country by no means or stretch of my imagination. I don't think Ohioans are country. I don't know. I don't think I've ever talked to an Ohioan and thought they sound country. But I think it's just because I have a different experience. Like I have grew up with a southern drawl. I don't think people in Ohio have a drawl. They might say things differently. I think there's a different culture, but I don't think they are country. I wouldn't call them country, personally. All right, we have the... So I am going to sew Yeah, I can understand that. I grew up in, not I grew up. I lived in Jersey. I lived in Newark for almost a year in 2013. But my family that I was living with in Newark are from Mississippi, so I don't feel like, I feel like people that I heard and saw that had different accents were from Mississippi. So I don't know. I feel like the native Jersey family members that I have, I don't know. I feel like they do have accents like Jersey, New Yorkers, but I don't know if I would call it country. I definitely think they have accents. Or rather, just to say, I don't think they have southern drawls. Because I think it's very possible to have an accent. Oh God, no. This is a clean finish hem. Oh, I don't want to. I'm going to be working on this dress forever. So I'm going to open this up. Make my life easy. And just go in and sew this from the inside. I don't know. I have a lot of family in Kentucky, a lot of family in Tennessee. But I think it just depends on where. I feel like a lot of people are migrants. Like, not migrants like that, but like migrate to different parts of the country. So like there's a lot of people in Ohio that are from Mississippi. So you might find Ohio people who have country accents or some country accents because a lot of them are southern, or mothers were southern, you know, fathers came from Mississippi. I feel like a lot of people that I meet, that I have met in Ohio, are like, oh, my grandma's from Alabama, because they all moved north during the Great Migration. Okay. Alright, I think I'm going to sew these two pieces together. Definitely Boston. I haven't ever been to Boston, actually. I don't think I've ever been to Boston. When I was living in New Jersey, New York, I did go to some of the like tri-state areas, and I went to like DC, like caught the train over and stuff like that. But I don't think I spent any time. Like I did some of, like I have a military family, so I went to go visit some of them. So you get exposure to some other people with extended accents, but I'm not as familiar. Every time I think of Boston, I think of those actors, the brothers. They have the burger place. And they own car dealerships. I know they own some car dealerships here that's named after them. I can't think of what their name is. Something Burger. I think they're from Boston. Alright, we're going to sew this lining back together on the side seams. And then I'm going to attempt to sew it all back together at the waist. That makes sense too. I thought at one point I considered taking a job in Minnesota, but I said I would never live anywhere colder than Ohio. Ohio hasn't been very cold the last couple of years, which has been nice. But I was like, I don't know if I can't move anywhere more north than Ohio. Like, I don't know. Like, even Detroit might be too far. I've been looking for, like, other design jobs, and I'm just, like, looking at possibilities, and I'm just like, I don't think I can go anywhere north. And I don't want to go to New York, although New York does have a lot of jobs. I don't want to live in New York. I was interviewing for Nike for a hot second, and that's in Oregon. And I was just like, can I live in Oregon? And I was hoping, oh, it's the West Coast. It's going to be so much warmer. According to my research, it is not. So I'm like, I don't want to go. If anything, I want to move somewhere back south, somewhere warmer. That is very true. That is a good point. That is a really good point. I remember having to explain this to, like, I have an aunt who is from Mississippi, but she lives in New Jersey. She's lived in New Jersey for a long time. And I was like, yeah, it will snow all the way up to May in Ohio. She's like, May? I'm like, yeah. She thinking that we're south because she's in New Jersey now. I'm like, yeah, no, it will snow all the way into May. Like, it will be cold in Ohio. All right, guys. We have one side seam put back together. And it's opened up. I just need to close this lining up, and I think I will be done with one side of this dress. I have only been locked a little over a year and a half, actually. I will have my 2-year lock anniversary in November. And I feel like they've grown so much. I need to wash my hair today. And I was thinking about doing a, like, before and after. Because my loctician was like, you know, by summer, your hair is going to be, you know, doing this thing. And I'm like, it's definitely doing something. It's giving. And I took some pictures back in January of, you know, what my hair looked like just straight. Because I've been wearing it curled lately because my birthday was like 2 weeks ago. So I had it curled up. So now this is kind of like the end of the curls. So I'm like, it's time to give it a good wash. And then let's do a comparison between now and what it looked like back in January. But I love them. I was hesitant at first about getting locks. And then I just made the decision. It was just like, I'm just going to do it. And here we are. Oh, wow. Yeah, I feel like it's been snowing. I feel like there's been less seasons as the year has progressed. As the years have progressed. So, like, more snow, less of a true fall, like going straight into winter. But I don't even think it snowed that much this year. Like, I don't remember there being a significant amount of snow in Ohio, which I am 100% okay with. I do not like snow. Okay. Oh. So the whole thing, and I'm sure nothing sewed. Anybody have plans? Anyone's off work tomorrow? I'm looking forward to being off tomorrow. Mentally preparing myself for having to be in office every day. Well, not every day. In office 4 days a week. Starting on Tuesday. In office 4 days. If I wasn't on live, I'm gonna say I probably had another like hour and a half or so. And I say that because the biggest part of this was the alterations, which was the letting everything out and putting it all back together. But I remembered that I have to hem this, and it's a lot of skirt, and it's, I think I said 4 layers. So I have to hem 4 layers. I have to cut 4 layers and then hem 4 layers. So that's gonna take me a hot second. But this is the only thing I really have to do today. So I'm hoping to not do this all night. Alright, so I need to sew that a little bit better. So there's this like white facing in here, and it's not even with the actual fabric of the dress, so it's kind of pulling away, so I have to put another stitch in here. This is at my house. This is my personal machine. I have a small business, so this is my personal / my small business sewing machine. I am a designer, but I don't actually sew for my job. So I tell factories how to make clothing and how we want things made and what measurements and things we want them to be. And then they send it to me. I evaluate it on a model. This sewing machine is $900, or it was before inflation. About $800-900 depending on where you go. But this is an industrial Juki machine. I have some other machines that are a lot cheaper, but I have a lot of sewing machines. But a standard sewing machine might be $200-300, and then if you're getting these specialty machines, they tend to be a little bit more expensive. Okay, so we have a clean sewn back together inside piece. And there's some little pieces here that I had to, like, I don't know if you guys can see. I had to take them off when I was taking this out, so I'll have to put them back on, but that would be the last thing that I do. And the sleeve is back together. So now I've already sewed this side. I do need to sew these pieces back together. You guys, make sure you are liking the live. There's about 27 people in the room right now, and there is only 5 likes. So make sure you are double tapping the screen. You can send hearts. You can gift to help support my channel, and you can gift by purchasing rubies through YouTube, and you can send super chats, and all of those things come to me to help support my small business and my channel. And also, outside of all of those things, you could just go follow me. It would be cool to get off of live and have 25 new followers. So all you have to do is follow my channel. It is Sewing with Tay. I make content about sewing. I do talk about my hair, my lock journey, and I talk about my job a little bit, and I teach sewing as well. My latest sewing project is a hand knit teddy bear, which looks like this. This is for sale. This tutorial is for sale on my website for $8. It comes with a video, comes with pictures, it comes with handwritten instructions. Today's weather is 74 degrees. There's a high of 77 and a low of 50. It's like 50 degrees this morning. I did an Amazon flex shift this morning, and I started off with a jacket, but by the time 11 o'clock hit, the jacket was coming off. So, but 77 is nice. It's not hot by any, it's not terribly hot, so it's manageable for me. I like a 77 degree. 77 degree weather is fine by me. Okay, so this needs to go back together. Make sure you guys double tap the screen. You see some hearts popping up there. I want to get used to watching lives more on YouTube to see how other creators control the room, how they grow the room, how they interact with the room. Oh yeah, I can make the teddy bears in whatever colors you want them to be. I haven't thought about selling teddy bears actually. I usually just teach people how to make them, but I actually hadn't thought about selling the teddy bears. I've been trying to get away from working so much in my business and being able to do things that will generate money for me without having to consistently be working and finding new things to do. So I've been selling the tutorial, but I haven't been selling the teddy bears because I can make that teddy bear in like an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2. But in that same hour, hour and a half, I could sell 10 tutorials. So I've been trying to get less hands-on in the business so that I can work more on high value projects versus, you know, smaller projects. But selling the bears is a cool idea. Maybe I put them on my website and let people request special colors. Like, that could be cool. That's cool. Now I know about the little what do you call those things? What'd you say? The ski masks. People have asked me to make those. I've made some before. I just don't sell them. As a small business owner and a team of one, I learned my lesson with the do-rags. We did like flavor of the month with the do-rags. So every month I was making a new do-rag and we would promote it, and they were selling. They were pretty good. But I would spend my time looking for new fabric, looking for ideas, what's the color, promoting, taking pictures, finding a model. I was spending all of my time making these do-rags, and then I would spend all of my time trying to sell the do-rags, pushing them out, like, okay, we gotta market, we gotta get out to the, what do you call the things they used to have, wave contests. And I was just like, I'm spending a lot of time, and I'm like feeling obligated to push selling these products because I'm spending so much time making them. So that's kind of where I became of like, I want to do everything custom because 90% of my work is custom, but then I don't have as much overhead of buying a whole bunch of fabric or making a whole bunch of teddy bears, and then I'm stuck here trying to be a salesperson, trying to get rid of this money that I've invested. So like you say, you want a lime green teddy bear, perfect, I'll make you a lime green teddy bear or a slime green teddy bear, but no one else might not want that. So I don't want to buy, you know, in bulk slime green, and no one else wants a slime green teddy bear, because then I'm going to spend so much time trying to make my money back. So I've been trying to have less overhead, so buy less things in bulk. Just, why isn't this sewing? Buy less things in bulk and just buy them as I know there is want for them. Let's try this again. That I can do. I think that's a good idea though. Like, I can put them on the website, because I've had people be like, I don't want to make a teddy bear, I just want one. And like, I've made them teddy bears because they've asked, but I haven't like tried to like sell them that way. I just was like, let's make a tutorial, something easy, something that I can put up and it will sell for as long as it's up. Like, it'll sell for 3-4 years if I just leave it there, versus me having to like promote and push to try to sell a product. Alright. But that's my goal. I went to ChatGPT, like, I need help, and it was like, you don't need to find new products to sell. You need to find things to promote and things that would generate revenue that doesn't require more of your time. So me making a tutorial, making a video, once I do it that one time and put it out there, I don't have to do anything else. It will continue to sell. I don't have to continually work in that to try to get it to go. I think doing a bag is cool too, because I do hand knit bags too. I've done I don't even know if those are on my YouTube channel, honestly. I think I did them as like, just like videos, but not like tutorials. But I have some hand knit bags that I will, and I just sell regular bags, but I have hand knit bags that could go along with a teddy bear. That could be cool. I'll make sure I'll look at that today. See if I can find a slime green yarn. That's gonna be the hard part. Trying to find a slime green yarn. Okay, so that was 1 and 2. This is 3. What time is it in Alaska? It's 7 o'clock here. Are you guys 3 hours behind? Us? Like California, same time zone as California? Hmm. That's kind of cool. I have to think about how to put that together. The head of the teddy bear will have a handle. .603 Nashville. It's 3 o'clock. Okay, yeah. Nashville. I was just listening to someone talk about Nashville. I always be wanting to go to Nashville. It's one of those things where like I be wanting to visit Nashville, but I be having like PTSD. Because when I lived in Mississippi, we would never go on vacation. We would just go to like Memphis. We never went on a trip. We just went to Memphis, or we went to like Louisville. We never go nowhere else. And then I'd be like, now as an adult, like I don't want to go to Nashville, but I do want to go to Nashville or like Louisville because they be having cabins and stuff there that look kind of cool, and I'd be wanting to go for like a cabin trip. But I'd be like, I don't like, what is there to do outside the cabin? I don't want to have to like do. But I remember like as a kid, like we would just go to like Memphis and go to Liberty Land. Like we didn't really go far. All right, I am hungry. Drink some more of this water. Get some fruit. Top, and then this is the side. Make sure you guys also follow me on Instagram. My Instagram page, if you look at my YouTube page, it's called Sewing with T.A.E. I'm Fantasia, but my small business is called the Aya Emporium, which is also T.A.E. So on my Instagram page, it is the Aya Emporium, and you can see some of the projects I've worked on, my bags, my hand knit projects. I just finished a wedding alteration, so that is what's up on my page today. That's new. I still have more things I need to post from the wedding order that I had, but I was very tired today. After that Amazon shift, I got up so early to do the Amazon shift. I came home and took a nap, and it was only 1 o'clock when I got up. I'm like, the day is still early. I guess that's great. I like that. I don't like doing Amazon shifts in the afternoon because I feel like you come home and by the time you recover, the day's over. I've seen a moose here in Ohio, just like walking down an apartment complex, and didn't realize how massive those things are. They are huge. I've always heard people talk about it, but when we saw it, we're like, yikes. We have some of the wildest things here. It's interesting. Okay, so I think I got so many pieces to this. I'm gonna have to get it together and then put it back on the form to look at it, but I think I have the skirt sewn back together. Thank you for the hearts. Animals. In Ohio, we have cats. No, cats everywhere. Animals, we see just regular animals. Skunks, possums. I can't say I've seen like wildlife. Like we have a lot of deer. We have tons and tons and tons and tons of deer. You drive down the street and there's deer everywhere, especially Northeast Ohio. They're like everywhere, and they wait right until you get ready to pass them to run in front of your car. I've like almost hit a deer way too many times. Oh, wow. That's crazy. That would be so cool, though. My manager just went on a big trip to Alaska, and she was there for a while, and she was kind of talking about the things that she saw and the food, and she said that, what is it? I don't eat it, but what is it called? Is it crab legs? I don't eat crab legs, but crab legs, or is it Alaskan king crab? Whatever it's called. She said they went to Alaska and they thought that they were going to get it because it's Alaska. And she said it was so expensive to get Alaskan crab in Alaska. But I'm like, maybe they were in like a touristy area. Where should you buy a sewing machine? Where should you buy a sewing machine? I don't know now. I wouldn't have bought my machine from Joann's. I've never done that. But I say find a dealer. Like, if there's no dealer, find a dealer online. Unless you're going to buy just like a Singer, then you can just buy that from like online somewhere like Amazon, etc. But like Janome, like I know here in Columbus we do have some Janome sewing machine dealers. So I would go there because they are the experts on the types of sewing machines and things. But if you're just getting like a basic like home machine, then I would just go to, you know, an online retailer. There are some cool ones like Kin Sewing Machines and Sewing Machine Plus. They're websites where they sell all different types of sewing machines. Oh no, that's not right. But yeah, if you're looking for like a specific machine like Janome, I would try to find a dealer because I think they give you a lot. We have some places here, like we have a sewing machine place here that I went in and I was like looking at purchasing a new serger, and they like let me sit down and use one that they had to like test it out to see if I really liked it. Depending on which ones you buy, yes. I had a brother serger. I know I had it for a minimum 10 years before it had problems. And even the problems that it does have, I probably could easily just take it to a repair place and they probably could just fix it for me. It's probably something simple, but I was just being annoying and didn't want to wait, so I just bought another one. But this Juki, as long as you keep it taken care of, you probably could have it for 20-30 years. I actually have some vintage sewing machines that still works that are like out of production, that were made like from Sears and Roebuck, so however long ago that was, that are like vintage machines, and they still work. So as long as you take care of them and keep them oiled and, you know, do the maintenance on them, you can have them for like a lifetime. I have a white, it's called White's sewing machine, and I like to collect vintage sewing machines. And by collect, I have two. But like I like to go to like garage sales, estate sales, and like someone always has a vintage sewing machine. So I like to go to the estate sales and the vintage the vintage sales to try to find them. So I have some good ones. I have a Netchi machine and I have a White's sewing machine. And those have to be minimum 20-30 years old. And they still very much so. I just don't have space to actually, oh no, don't do that. I just don't have the space to actually use them, so they're like sitting up in the other side of my studio. Okay, so we have one. What is this? Okay. I need to sew this part together. I probably should just pop another section since I'm gonna have to cut this. How did you guys find my live? Did you just see me on YouTube Shorts? I'm interested to know. Thank you. I appreciate you. Okay, more water. Alright. And I think these two pieces just gonna go back together. Alright. Uh-oh. Something's caught somewhere. This is caught. Okay. Need to look at this piece. Okay. Alright, let's try that again. A little piece of the skirt got caught in the seam, so I have to take it out and put it back. Let's try one more again. Alright, let's try that one. Ugh. So many things. Alright, we got that cleaned, finished. And the outside is also clean, finished. Alright, I think we have finished all the inside of the dress. Whew. That was a lot. That took me 100 minutes while talking and reading. Okay, where are we? Well, fun. The lace is raw edge, so I don't have to hem that. But this is clean finish, which is gonna suck. This has horsehair, which is also gonna suck. But kind of 2 hems instead of 4. Okay. So this is saying we need to take off about looks like about 6 inches off of the length of this dress. But before we do that, let's triple check our work. Alright, we took the bust cups out. We stitched it down with no stitch lines visible on the lace on the outside. We opened up this sleeve. Opened up this sleeve. We opened up all the side seam here. clip some of this. Right there. And let this open. And you'll open this. Hopefully that is a little bit easier for her. Prayerfully. Opened it up as much as you can. Oh, there's a little, I think that's okay. Just connect it. Okay. Alright. So I think we're gonna see tomorrow how it goes. And now we have to hem 4 layers of skirt. This layer is the one with the horsehair, and I'm gonna have to take this out. I can't cut it. So we're gonna have to take it out. If you're still watching the live, please support my live by getting rubies for your YouTube account, and then you can send gifts to me as the creator from the gifting gallery. And as you can see previously, like we had a flower set, there's a bunch of different valued gifts that you can send from the gifting gallery, but you need rubies to do that. So make sure you upload your account so that you can get rubies, so you can send gifts to the creator. And also super chats, so you can use super chats to highlight your comments, and you can use it to support my channel. Okay, this is being not nice to me. Okay, well, it doesn't matter because it's going to come off, but I don't want to mess up the horsehair. I don't know if I have black horsehair already, but if I make this shorter, I'm going to need more horsehair for the hem because it's going to become wider as we go up higher. I think I have black horsehair though. I just hope it's the same size. And then maybe if it isn't, then maybe I will just reduce the hem a little. I mean, reduce the sweep a little so that it fits. So taking this out is going to take me a few minutes. So while I'm here, does anyone else have questions about learning how to sew? Fun facts about sewing? How did I get into sewing? Okay guys, well, I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me for the last 100 minutes. If no one else has any questions or concerns about sewing or learning how to sew, I am going to finish this project and move on to the next one. I am hoping to post a new video tonight on my YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe to my channel, Sewing with T.A.E. And you can also send rubies and gift galleries and super chats and all of those things to support my channel by following my page and commenting on my shorts and watching my videos. Another way you can support my channel is by finding your favorite playlist and letting it play straight through. all of those things help me grow, help me get more exposure to support my small business. But thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. Have a happy Sunday. Hopefully everyone has a day off tomorrow and you can enjoy some time with your family. So until next time, y'all, I will see y'all later.